Today we have Stephane Knoll, all the way from Belgium. And we are excited to talk about shark teeth, talk about a little bit of fossils, talk about our backgrounds, talk about a whole lot of information here today. So while we are giving a second to join in, we want to definitely kind of post this up here first, that this is like a massive book, right? So hopefully as they're coming in, they're seeing the book as well. And the book is also his background. He has it there as well with him. So we'll dig into this a little bit later. But nevertheless, what we'll begin to do here is, I'm Charles Shelton. This is Stephane Knoll. And what we're going to do is I'll introduce myself. About 2 years ago, I started MyrtleBeachsharkteeeth, a Facebook page as well as the .com page. I started it because there really wasn't a page for shark teeth in the actual Myrtle Beach area. So right before the pandemic hit, it's about the time I started it. And nevertheless, it has grown by leaps and bounds by people all across the world. And nevertheless, hopefully the ones that are enthusiasts, the pros, the ones that want to learn what teeth is, what fossils is, hopefully they'll learn a lot today, as much as we can cover. So what we'll do, I would like to welcome Stephane Knoll here. And this guy is an author. This guy is a true professional in his craft. Wow. So welcome, Stephane.
I wouldn't really say professional, but thank you. I'm still an amateur, like, yeah, it's not my profession, but thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm Stephane Knoll. I'm from Antwerp, Belgium. I don't know if you guys know Antwerp, but it's a great hotspot for shark teeth, and that's where I grew up. So yeah, I'm actually not a paleontologist. I'm a veterinarian. I studied in Belgium, and now I'm doing my PhD in Italy. So I'm actually not in my hometown. Unfortunately, I would love to have done this meeting, as was first suggested in my fossil room, in my fossil cave, and I could show you all kinds of stuff. But unfortunately, that's not happening because I'm not at home.
That's okay. That's okay. And he's being very modest. Maybe, I don't know if he'll be able to show pictures of his room or not, which is fine if he doesn't have any.
Sure.
But this gentleman's collection is ridiculous. It just isn't teeth, it's fossils. I mean, what, T-Rex skulls? I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but no, I want to start here. This is where I want to start. I want to start with you being as a boy, you being as a child. You mentioned that you're, what, 60 to 80 kilometers back from the ocean, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So not really having the access to a beach like that, how was it really being a child in your area, finding your first tooth or being able to know what even fossils were?
Yeah, so, well, actually, I've been collecting fossils and shark teeth for as long as I can remember. So I cannot really tell you at what age I started, but my first memories of fossil hunting are actually at the beach. So it's not in Antwerp, in my hometown, but in the beach in Belgium, you can find some shark teeth as well. So it's possible to find them there. And I remember spending a lot of time as a young boy at the beach, especially in the summer, on my knees going up and down the coastline looking for shark teeth. And yeah, people were always asking me what I was doing, and it's really fun. So that's a thing about Antwerp. It's a really hot spot for shark teeth, but not a lot of people actually know that you can find fossils there. And especially the people that live in Antwerp are a bit oblivious to this fact. So actually, when I started looking for fossils and hunting for fossils, as a young boy, I didn't even know there were shark teeth to find in Antwerp. And it took me quite a long time before I realized this. And only after high school, when I really got serious into fossil collecting and especially shark teeth, I figured out that Antwerp was so rich, and I shifted my focus specifically to my hometown and to these fossils.
Wow.
So yeah. But as a kid, I always used to go with all kinds of fossil clubs. So we are lucky to have quite a few fossil clubs in Belgium, and we will go all over the place. So not only for shark teeth or not only at the beach, but also in the mountains or hilly areas to find trilobites or ammonites or other things. So that was really fun. But I haven't done those kind of fossil hunting for a while, as really Antwerp is so rich that my collection is now really only shark teeth from Antwerp, and I don't have enough space for all the things that I already have.
Wow. Wow. Now when you were having just a straight passion as a kid, finding teeth, finding fossils, and being actually in your area, being rich with teeth, artifacts of all kinds, were there people around, even though it wasn't really heard of like it is now, was there people that you were close to or that were older than you that helped you in your knowledge?
Well, as a kid, I was part of a few fossil clubs, and there was one in my town that was quite close, and I used to go there almost every weekend because they had like a fossil prep room where they gave workshops and teaching people how to prep the fossils and identify them and stuff. So that was really a heaven for me as a kid, and I used to go there almost every week. So but most of the people, I would say they were 20, 30 years older than me. I'm talking, I was a kid of 10, 12, 15 years old. So there wasn't, I didn't, at that time, I didn't know any of the, let's say, same age people as me do that were so passionate about fossils, but I do now. So after high school, I said, well, actually during my high school period, I kind of left fossil hunting a bit in the background, focus on school things. And, you know, as a high school kid, fossil hunting is maybe not the coolest thing. So it was not something that was really popular in school or anything. So I didn't have any friends that were doing the same thing. But after I graduated and I started university again, I got the bug of shark teeth hunting again, and I went to do it quite extremely. And when I went back into the field, I met some like-minded people, and they showed me to a group and a Facebook page, and then I met quite a lot of people, and now I know a lot of people that do the same, and a lot of people of my age as well. So it's really nice.
Wow. And see, that's unheard of. Like over here in the States, you know, we have plenty of museums and stuff, but to actually have like true, like authentic clubs or through like thorough people that will help you at a young age, that's unheard of here, you know? So it's really a privilege that you were able to have like a jump start at a young age.
Yeah, it's really nice. They organized this, and they still do it. And it's the different organizations. You just have to sign up, and you get a newsletter and a book every few months. And then there is a schedule for excursions, and you can just sign up to which one you would like to join, and they go all about everywhere, even in Antwerp, to look for shark teeth. So it's really nice.
Wow. So let's get to the point of, when did you know that your collection now kind of, like most all of us, we have like a obsession, like some people go to the beach for a week, 2 weeks, right? But when you live there, how much time did you spend a day just looking?
That's a good question. Yeah, sometimes I don't know. I should explain this maybe first, but most of the places where you go to look for shark teeth in Antwerp, you don't walk around like on Myrtle Beach and just pick up fossils. You have to dig a pretty big hole and sift all the sand that you dig up through a sifter to look for the shark teeth. But that being said, yeah, I can spend easily 10 hours straight digging and sifting for shark teeth. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows the feeling of the high of looking and for treasure or looking for shark teeth and fossils, and you just want to get to the next one. And just that feeling of finding things is just a great motivator. And, you know, I'm not a very sportive guy. I don't do a lot of sports, but I can spend, I said, 10 hours straight digging for shark teeth. That's not a problem.
Wow. And, you know, we have these hardcore people here that, you know, will burn themselves up at the beach, right? You know,
for sure.
But when it becomes a passion, you know, as you all will see within the book that we'll go over here a little bit, the passion that now let me transition to the book. We were talking and you said in 9 months. Now this is taking pictures, this is the editing, this is getting it printed. I mean, this is a huge, I mean, how many, what is it? It's almost
490 pages. Yeah.
You know, I mean, this thing, and y'all, this thing has weight, man. I mean, the quality is ridiculous. I mean, to print something like this that's 9 months, that is very impressive. Number one. Number two, you're welcome. You're welcome. Number two, just not putting anything out there, but putting quality. You know, because you can produce anything when it's quality.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
because I actually don't. Before making this book, I didn't have any experience in editing or any experience in photography or editing the pictures in
wow,
any background in that.
Wow.
So I just I got Photoshop and I had a macro camera because I like to do some photography, but not in this form. Wow. So I just started doing, and that's the result. Like, I'm very happy. I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes in the way, and I could have done everything much more efficiently if I had any background knowledge, or if I had the knowledge that I have now before starting. But I have to say I had a great time making the book, and I like to do things just figuring it out and making it happen. Yeah.
And well, I mean, whether you made mistakes or not, it looks amazing. And number two, I'll say, you mentioned that this was during pretty much a pandemic project, right?
So this was a pandemic project for sure. I had the idea to make a book a couple of years ago, or to make something similar, but like you said, it takes a lot of time, and I just didn't have the time between my studies and my PhD, and just finding a job and all the things people have to do in life, and so I didn't have the time. And so in 2019, I started my PhD here in Italy, so I moved away from home. So I didn't even think I would get to make this project. Wow. And then, unfortunately, the pandemic hit. And actually, I'm quite an artistic guy, and I have some photography skills. So just before the pandemic hit, my professor here in Italy, he gifted me a drawing tablet for the computer. He said to make illustrations for my work and for my research and things like that. And he said, just try it and practice and see, maybe we can do something with it. So He gifted me this tablet almost 1 week before the first lockdowns. So when the first lockdown hit, I don't know if you guys know this, but Italy was the hardest hit country in Europe and the first country to hit with the COVID pandemic. So they shut down everything. So I was just sitting at home. The universities were closed, and because I just started my PhD, I didn't really have anything to do. Wow. I was reading papers, but I didn't start any of my field work, or I didn't have any samples to process or anything. So basically I had a lot of free time on my hands. So so everything was closed, and even the stores, you can only go out to go to the supermarket, to the pharmacy. So I live in a little student apartment here in Italy, and I was just bored out of my mind. So I took the last flight home, and I made it back to Belgium just in time. And actually there was the same, everything was closed. It was the lockdown, so you cannot even go out fossil hunting. So I was just busy with my collection, organizing things, and I was, okay, let's start take some pictures and see if I can edit them nicely with a new tablet. Like, it's a new toy, I wanted to try it out. And I said, okay, why not? I start taking more and more pictures and just editing. And then it was like, okay, let's take one picture of every shark's tooth species that I have in my collection and edit them. And then after that, I was like, okay, let's take more pictures of different shark tooth positions for each species and start editing them. And so at the end, I had a pretty complete work, which I said, okay, now I can improve it. So I went to different collectors in my area, different people that I know, and took pictures of their collection and added them to the book and swapped some out. And in the end, you have the end result in front of you. That's how it went down.
Now, like, how was the process of getting everything? Now, how did you use like a company to do the book, or how did you?
That was actually the hardest part for me. For a long time after I finished the book, well, like you said, I told you before, I finished the book in about 9 months. So if you say, I started in March 2019, so by the end of 2020, I was finished. And it took me more than 1 year looking for a publisher, somebody who would take on my work to publish it officially. But unfortunately, I couldn't find anybody that was interested. They always said that the niche or the focus group for the book is too narrow and there wouldn't be any money for them to make, which I kind of understand. It's also, you say it's an expensive book to print. It's 400 pages of color pictures and a lot of ink. So they said there just wasn't any money in it. So in the end, I made like a poll on Facebook to see how many people would be interested. I was thinking to print for my 100 copies, and that's it. So in the first poll, I got more than 200 replies. So I decided to print 250 copies the first time.
Right.
And these were sold out in less than 1 week. So
oh my goodness. Wow.
I just went to a print shop, a private company that does all kinds of printing and binding, and they helped me out through the final steps to get the files right and to get everything correctly. And they printed it for me, and it was really great. I was super happy. And yeah, like I said, it sold out in less than 1 week. So after that, I printed another batch. And in the end, now I have printed about 1,000 copies. And I've sold, I think, about 650 so far. So
wow,
that's going well.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's much more than I ever thought.
Wow. And you know, it's by sometimes people get discouraged because of the pandemic, the epidemic, you know, and out of all the no's you got, you could have quit. You know, you could have said, I give up. But look, 600 copies of something this huge, that's amazing. You know what I mean?
That's great.
That is a useful resource, you know.
And I'm especially happy about the success in the United States. I said more than half of the copies went to the United States, even though the book is, well, I would say specific to Antwerp, where of course I sold a lot in Belgium and Holland, where most of the shark tooth hunters from my area are. But otherwise, the US is a really great supporter. It's been really great so far.
Wow.
And you know, that's the beauty of the book also. Antwerp is so rich in shark teeth that you find, what I show in the book is more than 41 species of sharks. And that's why the book is applicable worldwide. There are a few species missing that you find on Myrtle Beach that are not in the book, like the bull shark. We just don't find it in Antwerp, so I don't have any pictures of it. But that's just one species compared to 41 species that are reflected in the book. So you can really use it everywhere.
Wow. That's amazing. And you know, it's really, I think, really awesome that people would share, right? Let you get pictures, let you, you know, because like you said, and something I want to kind of pause and insert, we kind of laughed about it earlier, but here in the States, people ask the question, where do you find? Where do you go? Where do you find? Now over there, can you share just briefly? I just mentioned that, you know, people you knew allowed you to get pictures, but over there, it's not common to share locations, to share sites,
absolutely
right?
not.
Right.
So contrary to your situation in Myrtle Beach, there is not one specific spot or one naturally occurring spot in Antwerp where you can go and look for shark teeth. So if you have an idea of Antwerp, it's just a big city with a big port, and it's 80 kilometers from the beach. And Belgium is a very, very small country, and we have over 11 million inhabitants. So the whole country is basically one city. So there are no natural areas where you could go and look for shark teeth or dig for shark teeth. So where do we find them? Well, most of the shark teeth that we find in Antwerp come from the Antwerp harbor. The harbor is the second largest harbor in Europe, and they have a lot of big structures, like big docks that were dug out for boats. And well, these structures are huge, and really huge. And when you have to dig such big holes, there's a lot of sand, and that sand is somewhere. So we have one spot in Belgium, which is just a sand depot for everything that came out of the harbor. And it's a huge, huge spot. And I mean, it's incredibly rich in fossils. That spot, everybody knows. So that's just the spot you can go to and find shark teeth on a daily basis. Well, actually, it used to be. Now, as it's so well known. The top layers of this pot have been all looked through, and you have to dig quite deep to get to new fossil-rich layers. And the harbor is not so happy about that. So you cannot just go and dig 2 or 3 meters down because it's very dangerous. So they actually prohibited the site for now, but it used to be one of the most productive sites that, well, in Antwerp, it's really a beautiful place. But okay, back to your question. So when I hunt for shark teeth, I usually hunt on construction sites, which are just in the middle of the city. Anywhere where they dig, they build some basement, or they build a house, they build a hospital, sand comes up and usually got tons of fossils. So what you do is just drive around town, identify some sites, and then you go and ask for permission. And if you get permission, that's great. Most of the time you don't, but when you get the permission, it's really nice. So, but the problem is you cannot just show up with 30 people, 50 people and say, hey, can we come and dig on your construction site? So when you find the site, you usually keep it for yourself. You share it with your close friends, but that's it.
That's about it.
Otherwise, it gets shut down very, very quickly.
Wow. Wow. See, now over here, us Americans and ones that are watching, you know, people get offended when, you know, we had the passerbys on the beach, right? And hey, what are you looking for? The first thing you hear is shells, or I'm not looking for anything. And, you know, as you get older, you understand what they're doing. But
yeah, for
at
sure.
the end of the day, I would like to go here too, kind of slowly transitioning to teeth. What is probably your first, maybe not so much tooth that you found, but what is your favorite tooth that you like to find the most?
I love to find cow sharks. I mean, you're familiar with the cow sharks. They are just beautiful teeth.
Yeah.
They are absolutely my favorite species to find. We find 2 species in Antwerp, is the 6-gill and 7-gill cow shark. The 7-gill is the smaller one we find it in the Neogene, and the 6-gill is the larger one that we find in the Pliocene of Antwerp. And well, because you find them in different deposits, they are in different layers. So I cannot say I prefer one over the other, but if I look in the Pliocene, I love to find the Hexangus, the 6-gill sharks. But if I look in Neogene deposits, I love to find the 7 gills as well.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah.
Now we have the title of your book. Most people, I think y'all call it Neogene. We call it, I guess, Neogene over here.
Neogene, yeah, Neogene.
Yeah. Can you give like a brief synopsis, or as long as you would like, of what that means?
So the Neogene is a period, is not so long ago. I will show you here. Yeah, one moment.
Sure.
Well, I will show you later. So the Neogene is actually a period and consists of 2 time periods. It's the Miocene and the Pliocene. The Miocene ranges from about 23 million years to about 5 million years. And the Pliocene is from 5 million years until about 2.5 million years ago.
Wow.
So that's the range of shark teeth. And that's the sharks in this period were a very dominant family, a very dominant group. And that's the period also where sharks grew the largest. So for me, it's the most exciting time period to hunt for shark teeth, because you have the Megalodon and you have the big Mako sharks and you have the great white. While of course other periods are really fun too, and they are really nice teeth. Those are the most, like I compare to most people ask me, like, why do you enjoy hunting for shark teeth so much, and why shark teeth in specifically? Well, I don't know. Why do people like dinosaurs? They are big, ferocious animals that speak to your imagination. And well, these sharks, they compare, in my opinion, to these dinosaurs. They were huge predators, very impressive, and the teeth especially are very fun to find, and it gives you an image from the past, from something that is so powerful, so ferocious. And that's why I enjoy shark teeth and this period specifically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when you talk about the different time frames, do you know which one you're in? Like when you're actually out there?
It depends. if you're hunting in the sands that come out of the Antwerp harbor, unfortunately, everything has been mixed up and the sands are so mixed. And so we call it, so that's why the book is also called the Neogene, because in Antwerp, a lot of times these two periods are mixed together and you cannot differentiate them. So that's why I put them both together. And another reason that I put both together is that a lot of the species that lived in the Miocene actually lived on to the beginning of the Pliocene. So this distinction between Miocene and Pliocene is quite arbitrary when you talk about the shark species. So, but if you hunt, like we say, in situ, like the layers that deposits are actually still in place, you can see, depending on the coloration, depending on the shells that you see or you find in the layer, you can identify the exact age of each layer. And yeah, it's actually quite easy. The sands that are from the Pliocene are usually light color, like yellow, orange, with a nice intact big shells with a high diversity. It's very easy to recognize. While the in situ layers of the Miocene, they are dark, greenish, black, and with very different shell species in. So it's quite easy to identify them.
See, this is interesting because the Pliocene, I guess, would be what we pull up
younger,
black, right? And that's most of, like, if you're in Myrtle, you're going to find black, you're going to find brown. If you go further north, Little River, or to what we call the Point, it's more tan, it's more almost white, it's more brownish looking. But the further south you go is more black. But the more inland you go, you get to a lot of the orange rock that you was talking about too. So I guess it's interesting to see that both is being mixed, obviously, if they're pumping sand up and so on too. So, but if you would like, man, can you kind of just guide us slowly through your book, kind of break down some stuff for us?
I will share my screen 1 second so you can see what I mean.
Sure.
So you can see this is a picture. Can you see the picture?
Yes, we're good.
So here's a picture of a construction site with the Pliocene sands on top, because of course Pliocene is younger than Miocene. Which you can see is an orange light color mixed with a lot of shells.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you go down, it becomes green, dark gray, and black. Here's black again with shells, which is a great Miocene deposit. So you can actually just read the transition. And this is just below the surface. You can see here's was the surface, so you can see roots of the trees and everything. So that's really beautiful. In Antwerp, you can just get the fossil deposits 1-2 meters below the surface. And, you know, so anywhere they dig, anywhere they do some construction, you got chances of hitting these layers, and they are just packed with shark teeth.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Now, and like you said, I could see how dangerous it could be the more you start digging. Now, have you been in a situation where it's been kind of maybe not so much life-threatening, but like, uh-oh moment?
Personally, not, because I don't like to dig deep. Well, I know the risks, especially in the Antwerp harbor area. The sand is it's beach-like sand. So if you dig too deep, the walls will just collapse. So you always have to be careful. So for me, I haven't had any life-threatening situations, but we have had some situations, and especially that place where people got buried under sand and they had to call the fire department and things like that. So that's also part of the reason why they now prohibit anybody going there. So, you know, there just has to be one accident and it screws it. Everything is
because of somebody's carelessness, right? Yeah,
exactly.
So we've talked about the two general areas of teeth. Now, when we get to blending, so when you're at Belgium, what is the difference from the quality of finding teeth from where you are compared to actually going to the ocean? Are they about the same finding?
No, absolutely not. Well, in the ocean, firstly, at the beach, you find Eocene teeth, so they're older, and they are smaller, and they're also, I'd say the motion of the ocean usually removes a lot of detail of the teeth. They are black and rounded, like they are sandblasted, while the teeth in Antwerp are landside teeth, which are actually very high quality teeth. But you have a difference as well between the actual construction site teeth and the teeth you find in the harbor area, because the sand dump has not been dug up with machines and trucks and brought to this dump. They have been pumped up from the bottom of the docks through huge iron pipes and brought for kilometers and kilometers to this site. So a lot of the teeth get damaged, which makes the quality a bit less. Usually they have some chips or some damage, but yeah, that's why you have a difference between both sides. But the good thing is that the sands that come from the harbor are so rich that even if 1 in 100 teeth survives this journey, there's still so much to find. So it's really great.
Wow. Now, if you had a choice, what would you rather, if you had this like a week, right? And you had the choice to just stay in your area or go to the beach, which would you rather go to?
Antwerp for sure.
Yeah, for home.
Yeah. It's in my opinion, one of the best spots in the world. I know you cannot say it can be compared to some of the bigger sites like Lee Creek or even the desert in Peru or anything, because we hunt little construction sites. But for me, it's really great. It's not like you can go out into the desert and find associate megalodons, but they find all associate whale skeletons in Antwerp almost on a regular basis. They call it I would say a whale cemetery. That's why there are also so many shark teeth, because they find so many whale skeletons there. Wow. It's really interesting. Wow. But yeah, Antwerp is really one of the best spots for me, in my opinion, to hunt in the world.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this. We all kind of know what a tooth looks like, but in your collection, you have a wide variety of a lot of things. How did you know to start is it just by a curious eye saying, oh man, let me not throw this back because it might be something? How did you get into just not the teeth, but the fossil side of it?
Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that question because like I said, I've been doing this for so long, and you train your eye to recognize any shape or anything that is out of the ordinary. So most of the time when I'm looking for shark teeth, I think that even my brain would recognize anything on the floor that is interesting before I consciously have recorded it. Wow. It's really some things that I notice sometimes, especially if I'm walking around, your brain sounds an alarm, like I've seen something before you actually have pinpointed where it is.
Right. Because I think most of us at the beach, we throw back so much because we don't know what it is besides teeth, whether it's bone cartilage or whether it's stingray barbs or mouth polyps,
for sure.
So
yeah, we find a lot of those things as well, but it depends what you're interested, what your interest is. But for me, anything is interesting. I take shells as well, or all fish fossils, whale fossils, anything. But the shark teeth are at the center of the. I usually take the other stuff to complete the image of what was the ocean like in that period. So I showcase the shark teeth as the centerpieces, with the rest as extra information, extra. But yeah, I love it.
So let's kind of transition into your book, man. I'm looking on page 5. I think this is really awesome, and this might give them a good synopsis of what it looks like when you actually mention sand. I
can share that picture.
Sure. I think that'd be awesome for them to see. Because see, you don't really see that at the beach here. But I mean, that would be illegal. But over there, that's what it looks like. So can you kind of walk us through?
Yeah. So this is a very nice construction site that we had. As you can see, the sand is very dark and gray and blackish. So that's Miocene deposit. So that was a really interesting site, as it was in situ Miocene. So what you can see on the picture is a bunch of us amateurs and also a few researchers from the Natural History Museum of Brussels that were working together to just extract as many fossils as we could in a short time frame, because they are digging, it's an active site. So they just uncovered this area where we were digging that day, and they said, okay, on Monday this is all going to be dug out and moved away, and there will be concrete on top of it. So if you want to find some teeth, do it now. And that's why we were all working together to get as much sharks there as possible.
Wow. And just to have the eye to know you're under a deadline, right? To know that, oh, we only have so many hours, so many days to go through this. That's amazing to go through that much product. And I'm sure you miss a lot, but just
for sure. We save what we can save, and that's also the beauty of it, and the beauty of looking for shark teeth or fossils on construction sites, because you are not harming anybody and you're saving the fossils. Because if nobody takes them, they're just going to be lost forever. They're going to be poured under concrete, and that's it. So that's why amateur community of fossil hunters in Antwerp plays such an important role in the paleontology of Antwerp, because we get to save a lot of specimens, and a lot of the findings and a lot of the things that are done by amateurs end up in the museums or end up in publications, because they cannot do everything.
Wow. And transitioning on to, I think, page 6 and 7, that's amazing too, because that's and that's still still a construction site.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try to see. So all of these pictures are for example, these pictures also, you can see it's a construction site. We're required to wear safety equipment to work there, but it's always nice if they allow us. And you can see we're just working here. Here's the top of the site, here's the porter potty, and we're just processing sand before it gets shipped away and destroyed.
And the quality of teeth that even right here in the left-hand corner, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I put it there on purpose.
That's still amazing.
This is one of my favorite layers to hunt for fossils. It's a rework layer, which means that it has been actually deposited by the river. What happened is that the river that is in Antwerp washed away a lot of the topsoil and washed away a lot of the lighter material and concentrated all the teeth in about, here it's about a layer of 1 meter thick. So it's a mix of mycene and pliocene at that spot, but it's protected by, after it got deposited, it got some clay got put over it by the river, and so the quality of the teeth underneath the clay is really nice because it got protected from all the acid in the rain and all the erosion. So it's a really cool layer to hunt. Here you can see this is also on a site when they remove some layers are just standing on. This are all seashells. I don't know if you can see that. It's just seashells. There's more seashells than sand.
So when you're going through that type of, and that's amazing. I mean,
yeah, that's about what you get from a day's work, sifting these sands on sites.
So and that's what, a 6-inch, every bit of that?
No, that maybe about a 4-inch.
Wow.
This is a 3-inch tooth. The Mako.
Yeah. It's amazing. And those Benedines are Cal. That's great quality.
Yeah. So here you can see these are typical Pliocene sands. You see a lot of shells, and the lightish color, yellow color. So this is a site again where just dug. I mean, this is 1.5 meters, maybe not even. Just about under the grass.
That's crazy. That's a paradise. And the collars are really unique.
Yeah, Antwerp is really known for this kind of teeth where you have the orange root and the blue color on the crown, and those are the gems. What you're looking for, like you see the orange root and the blue type color. That's again, orange and blue. Those are the beautiful teeth.
That's amazing.
All right.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And to see a whole wall, right? I mean, and I'm sure the layers are like that until they're pulled back, I'm sure on the beach, we walk by layers underneath our feet, obviously.
For sure.
And I saw one picture I thought was really unique. There was a huge pile of dirt, I guess, on the street. And I was like, wow, that's just amazing to see. Now, is that something that you can go through?
Most of the time, I love to dig in these things because a lot of, are you hearing me okay? Because I'm
Yes.
getting a notification that my internet. Okay, no, it's fine. So I love to hunt these kind of places. This is just the sand pile that comes out of a construction site. So usually, most of the time, the construction sites, they will not allow you to dig anywhere or to walk around anywhere if they are working. So you just tell them, but I will go to your spoils pile, just a pile where nobody is ever looking and it's just trash to them. So you can just dig around in there, and actually it's much safer and much more responsible to do that. And you have all the great finds in there as well.
Now, and I think this is interesting too. I don't know if you can see this picture or not, but that picture there, that's now, so that's something like that's a free for all, right? I mean, obviously.
For sure. So that's really nice. Let's see if I can find it. I guess I don't have it prepared.
Oh, that's okay. I just happened to it really caught my attention because
that's why I put it in the book. I will just take the page from the book one moment.
That's crazy.
Because it really shows. So he's talking about this picture.
Yeah.
This is one of the most famous buildings in the center of Antwerp, which is the Opera House. And here you can see sand with fossils just in front, where they were just digging. I don't know, they were putting like a new street light or something, and just the sand that turned out from there has fossil shells in it. Like, I doubt you would find a shark tooth in there, but you never know. It's always possible. But this was just to show that anywhere they dig in Antwerp, it's possible they bring up some fossil bearing sands, and just need to be lucky and get some nice teeth from there.
Wow. Well, if you would like, man, we can kind of go through some of a few of the teeth if you like to, from the Neogene.
Yeah.
Or Mycene, whichever you want to start at.
I will just put I guess the PowerPoint now, and we can go through that. Let me put it. All right. So you can see the screen.
Yep, we're good.
So I will go through the book briefly, so you guys know what we are talking about. Well, we've been talking for half an hour and we haven't shown the book, so we will see. So this is the cover of the book. The book is called Neogene Sharks of Antwerp, and it's an extensive visual reference guide to the shark teeth that can be found in Antwerp. But as I said, because Antwerp is so rich, it has more than 41 species of shark teeth. So this book can be used anywhere in the world where you have Miocene or Pliocene deposits. You can find the same species that are depicted in this book. So the book is composed of high quality pictures, and I show one tooth per page, front and back. And in total, the book is 390 pages. And per species, I show about 4 tooth positions. So the focus of the book is not only identification of the species, but I also show dentition reconstructions and the position of each tooth in the jaw, so that you learn, well, you can identify the tooth not only to the species level, but also say, okay, this is a lower tooth, this is a front tooth, this is a back tooth, and just get more insight on your fossil. I love to know these things. And the ultimate goal when you look for shark teeth is to make the jaw reconstructions, and it's really nice if you have a full set.
Absolutely.
So let's go to the next slide. So yeah, this is kind of the front page, so the title page. And here you can see the content. So has a small preface and introduction. It's about Antwerp and about the Neogene. So the book is fully in English. You can read the introduction and learn about the time periods and how the deposits in Antwerp are formed and things like that, if that interests you. But I imagine it's maybe not the scope for people from the USA, but still, I think it's very interesting.
Absolutely.
And then the book has 7 chapters, 1 chapter for each of the big shark orders that you can find. And the 7th chapter is a special chapter about pathologies. I just love the pathological shark teeth, the ones that are misshapen or weird. And for me, those are very interesting. My cat is attacking me, sorry. So the first chapter is Carcariniformes, which are your lemon sharks, your tiger shark, your Hemipristis. This is the biggest order there is. These have immense list of species, and actually in Belgium, we only identify one lemon shark species, but I know that in the USA, in Myrtle Beach, you have the bulls and you have the, what you call it, the dusky sharks and those things. So
Right.
these are not in the book because we only have one species of a small lemon shark, but I think those are very common right in the USA, the bull sharks. And
Right. Yep.
so these would be easy to identify, and I'm sorry they are missing in the book, but I can't really do anything about it.
That's okay.
And then the second chapter is the most interesting one, is the big sharks, the lamniformes, where you have the Megalodon, you have the big Mako sharks and the big great white and things like that. Then other orders are less known. These are a lot of small teeth or small shark species, or species that are quite special. We will go through a few of them. And then my favorite is the chapter number 6, which is Hexangiformes. This is the cow sharks. So we have 2 species of cow sharks, and they are shown in this chapter. So like I said, it has a small introduction and a small explanation about the Neogene. I already told you the Miocene and the Pliocene. The Miocene is from about 23 million years to 5.3 million years old, while the Pliocene is from 5.3 till 2.5 million years old. And then you have the shark orders again, so the 6 big orders that you can find. So we'll go through a few of the examples just to show a few pages. So this is page 19, the beautiful tiger shark. So what do I show here is the shark. Well, first the scale for the tooth, of course. Each picture will have a scale, so you can see how big each tooth is. Then the shark with a diver, so also for scale, so you get an idea of what the shark looks like and how big this animal is. And then I would always show a jaw with the tooth depicted in which position, but unfortunately I may not have chosen the best picture to start, because tiger shark teeth are very, very hard to determine position, and you cannot know even if it's an upper tooth or a lower tooth. So here the position is not shown because it can be actually anywhere.
Wow.
So actually I didn't choose a good picture to start, but okay. So what do I show in for each tooth is the Latin name, so the scientific name, the common name, so tooth position, unknown here, the time period, the status, so if it's extinct or not. Well, this species of tiger shark is extinct, but everybody knows a tiger shark, of course. And then the location where it was found, a little bit specific, and in which collection that it is. So this one is one of my teeth, but I always put, if I want to take the picture in somebody else's collection, I would put his name there, you know, it's a basic courtesy.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So the next one is Hammerhead Shark. Yeah, I think you find those as well in Myrtle Beach. So this a nice hammer. You'll find 2 species of hammerhead sharks in Belgium. This is the larger one, and then you have the smaller one. But I guess I didn't choose that picture. These can be found in both time periods. Again, they are extinct, and you can see here that this shark tooth is not mine. It's from a friend of mine. Here's a beautiful treasure shark, and I think you find these as well. They are very, I love to find these. I don't know, treasure sharks are very special sharks. They have this big tail. I don't know if you're familiar with how they look like, but it's really, really interesting. They use their tail to hunt fish. They actually use it as a whip to stun them, and then they can just eat them up. So
wow,
these are things that we wouldn't know if this shark would be extinct. But as you can see here, this shark still exists. So it's really interesting to see, to be able to visualize how this predator actually hunted, and to bring more information to the teeth that you find. A lot of the time, you can also tell a lot of the physiology, a lot of the behavior of the shark based on only the shark teeth. For example, these treasure sharks have very narrow, curving, pointing teeth, which means they would eat fish because they use the curved teeth as a fish hook to grab onto the fish. While later I would show you a picture of a great white shark tooth, for example, which is totally different. The shapes, the morphology is very, very different because it's designed to do something very different. It's designed to cut flesh of mammals, which is higher in collagen and very hard, much harder to cut. So it has a blade shape with serrations, but okay, we can we will get to that later when we see one.
Now the
So it's
thresher,
really interesting.
the thresher, they are very popular in Myrtle. They love to be within like actual surf, right? So,
Oh yeah,
and they get beached a lot down there. So that's what down in Myrtle. So, yeah.
But they are very beautiful sharks.
Yes, they
For
are.
sure. And even I also love these shark teeth. I think the shape is very elegant.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Here, the next picture is the great white shark tooth. As you can see, the shape, the morphology of this tooth is very different. It's a flat triangle. It's a blade like a knife with serrations. If you think of your knives in the kitchen, which knife would you use to cut meat? You're not going to use the knife, or you're going to choose the knife with serrations because that works better.
Right.
Well, evolution has figured out the same, and it's really, really interesting.
And the color of that tooth is beautiful.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a camel tooth. Yeah, he's ready for the army.
That is crazy.
And that's a 3-incher also. That's a really beautiful tooth.
Wow.
Yeah, it's from my friend, so it's not mine, unfortunately.
Wow.
So here you can see, well, I've marked the position of the tooth inside the jaw and written about here. So yeah, also what's interesting, most people don't know when they pick up a shark tooth, they always think this is the front side, but actually the front side of the tooth is the other side. So you should keep that in mind.
Yeah, because we would assume that the right picture would be the front, right? Yeah.
Well, it's not. No.
Wow.
Yeah. And so here you have what we used to call the Mako shark, but now it's called the lesser great white shark tooth, or the ancestor to the great white shark. Actually, in the last year, this name was also changed to Carcharodon picatili. So my book is already outdated, but okay.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, sometimes it goes fast in science, but you can see, so this guy would be the direct ancestor of this guy, which the only difference between the morphology of these teeth is that this one doesn't have serrations. So yeah, you can see that the great white shark just evolved from this guy. It's really interesting. And you can see this is also the same tooth position.
Wow.
So the teeth are
almost
very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a very interesting species that we actually find quite a lot in our area, but is quite rare in other areas like the USA. It's the Serrated Mako, or well, this tooth has also been renamed in the same paper, so it's actually Carcharodon. It's Escherichia subseratus now, Escherichia subseratus now, so they changed the name, but okay, you know, it's still applicable. You can easily Google this name and see that has been changed, but that also just happened in the last year. But so these teeth are very rarely found overseas, and it's a species that we are very known for in Antwerp and also in Holland to find these serrated Makos.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a nice tiger shark, sand tiger shark tooth, so, or sand shark. I think you find those as well.
Yeah, very popular down here. Yep.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Megalodon. Megalodon is a species that you find quite a lot in the USA, or I have the impression that the USA people always find a lot of Megalodons. They're posted a lot, but they're actually quite rare in Belgium. And
wow,
this is my best one, and
wow.
I don't have many. They are not found as much here. We have a lot of Mako sharks, or the lesser great white shark. That's the most common species we find, and also a lot of cow sharks. But so you can see it's interesting. Different locations have different fauna. They have, for example, you find a lot of Hemipristis teeth, which we almost never find. And it depends on the climate. I guess the climate was different, or the depth of the ocean was different, and different factors make that different shark species were more abundant in some places. But overall, the species composition is the same, but their proportions shift.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the Binidini you were talking about. It's a beautiful one. I love these teeth as well. I prefer the teeth with curves than the big flat blades.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah.
then
And those are rare. Those are very rare here. So when you find them, they're
I
very
think
rare.
they're always rare. It was a very large pelagic shark, and I don't know any location where they are common. So I think he was a shark that was rare everywhere.
Wow. And he looks, I mean, how big was he? Almost what, the size of a great white?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I would say so. They actually don't know what this shark would look like because there is no living relative or anything that is close to this shark, but they assume it's about the size of a great white, looking at the shark, the size of the teeth. Yeah.
Wow.
Then this is another shark tooth that is very, very interesting that we find a lot. Well, not a lot in Antwerp, but it's quite common in Antwerp, while you basically don't find it anywhere else on Earth. And it's actually the Greenland shark. So it's a shark that lives in Greenland or very cold areas. But during the Pliocene, Miocene age, this shark was abundant in our area. And actually, at the deepest point, Antwerp would have been about 100 meters underwater. So this is, and this was a scavenger shark. So they go around and find dead animals, cadavers that have sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and that's what they feed on.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite sharks as well. It's a very, very interesting shark, and is the vertebrate that lives the longest on Earth. It can live about, if I'm not wrong, 200 to 400 years old. The shark can be that old.
Wow.
Really amazing creatures.
Wow.
And they have, so this is the lower tooth, a tooth from the lower jaw, and they have rows of these teeth, hundreds and hundreds of these teeth. And these teeth are actually quite small, but the shark is 6 meters long. It's a very big shark.
Wow.
And because you can also deduce some things from the morphology of the tooth again, when you see this shark, if I tell you that it can live up to 200 to 400 years old, it wouldn't be beneficial for the shark to change his teeth a lot because that requires a lot of energy. So these teeth have an immensely large root so that they are rooted inside the jaw. They are strongly positioned so that the shark wouldn't lose its teeth as frequent as other sharks.
Wow.
That live a shorter period. Yeah.
Wow.
It's very interesting. Then my favorites, the cow sharks. This is a beautiful example of an Antwerp cow shark tooth from my friend. And then this one as well. This is the six-gill cow shark, this is a shark tooth that my friend found while I was standing next to him when he found it. And I think this is the most beautiful shark tooth that was ever found in Antwerp.
Wow, it is. And the roots are quite long.
Yeah, these are also the feeding behavior and the behavior of these sharks are very similar to the sleeper shark, the Greenland shark. They are scavengers. They go around the bottom of the ocean eating dead whales and dead carcasses that have floated to the bottom. And they are deep sea sharks as well. Both are deep sea sharks. So they are very similar. And as you noted, the root has a similar structure as the one from the Greenland shark. But yeah, the Greenland shark would have lots of smaller teeth, while these teeth are very large and bright. But actually, if you think about it, the structure is quite similar. And then the last chapter is about pathologies. As you can see, this tooth is totally disformed, totally misshapen. So interesting things. This is also one of the most interesting teeth I've seen. It will be a Symphysal shark tooth from a Megalodon from the upper jaw that has fused together from both sides. But actually, a complete Megalodon set has never been found, or as complete as they want it to be, it has never been found. So it's still debated if this tooth position, the Symphysal, so if you don't know what a Symphysal is, the two sides of the jaw fuse together at the middle. And most sharks don't have a tooth or any teeth in the middle position between both sides of the jaw. So Symphysal teeth are the ones that are in the middle, and it's still debated if the Megalodon actually had Symphysal teeth. I believe yes, because there are a lot of examples of these little misformed teeth that have it's a consistent shape pattern that can be identified as the position in the middle of the Symphysal, because there's not a lot of place there. So the teeth are usually squished together and the roots have a very typical form. And these are found in Megalodon teeth and all Megalodon lineage. So I believe they had them, but it's still debated and it's not 100% scientifically proven. But this is an interesting tooth because it could be both sides of the Symphysal that have fused together would be proof of this existence. But as you can see here, actually the root is missing quite a lot and the typical shape of the root is not visible. So if this is really a Symphysal or just a twin-tipped Megalodon, it's also a mystery.
Wow.
But for example, here is a triple tip sleeper shark or the Greenland shark, where you can see clearly that this tooth goes to the left and this one goes to the right because the shape of the tooth, the blade are mirrored. So this would actually be the lower symphyse of this shark that has fused together. So you can see that because these teeth are so close together in this little pocket between both of the branches of the jaw that they can fuse together. So yeah.
Wow.
So that's it. If you are interested in the book, can tell you some things here. So how to order is to send an email to me. So it's sharkteethantwerp@gmail.com. If you'd like, just take a screenshot now so that you don't forget, because anybody who is watching can use this code right here, Myrtle 2020, to get 10% off your order. And this will be valid 1 week starting from today. So please send me an email with your order, your shipping address, and your phone number, and I'll get the book to you.
Awesome. Awesome.
And so you can also follow me on Instagram, sharkteethantwerp.
So you all can screenshot that. You all can email him, and please be patient. And please be patient because there is a time difference. He's 5 hours ahead of us. So he will get back with you as soon as he can. Please use Myrtle 22, 10% off until April 2nd. April 2nd. So this is just a taste. Right? Yes, absolutely. This is just a taste of what you will find in the book. Great information, great photos. He's a wealth of knowledge. Follow him on his Instagram. And what else do you have coming up that would, is there another book down the line, a year or two from now?
Well, maybe I have an idea for another book. I have an idea, but we will see, because I'm still here in Italy and I'm still working at least 1 year here. And
oh, wow. Okay.
We will see what happens when I finish, because I might stay here a while longer. I might go back home to Antwerp. I don't know. As I said, I have paleontology and shark teeth is my side hustle, is my side job, or is my passion. But I actually have a day job like everybody else. And we'll see if another pandemic hits. Maybe I have time to make another book.
Absolutely. So again, how to order. You have to email him at sharkteethantwerp@gmail.com. Please, your order, shipping address, your phone number. Again, do not forget to use Myrtle 22, 10% off.
Yeah, again, just mention it in the email, or send me the screenshot if you want. However you want, you will get your 10%.
Absolutely. Well, sir, this has been absolutely fun. Hopefully we get to do this sometime soon again. Maybe have a part 2. So this has been fun. You all screenshot this. We're leaving it up for you to be able to screenshot here the next couple of seconds. And I know it's 2 o'clock here, so people has a lot going on, but we want to get him a lot of orders. We want him to run out of books.
Would be great.
So
yeah, for sure.
But absolutely, again, follow him on his Instagram. Hit him up on the email.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can always send me an email or hit me up on Instagram. I'm happy to answer all the questions.
Absolutely. Well, you all, this has been fun. And I hope, Stephen, this is a launch and this is a push for the book, for the Instagram,
great.
What all you got going on, man. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
It was a blast.
Well, thanks a lot, everyone. Please share this, and share it with somebody. And y'all have a great day. Stephen, thanks a lot. And we'll be in contact soon.
Thanks,
As we always We always say happy hunting. All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, happy hunting. We say the same.
All right.
Yeah.